coach thousands of students. And what I've seen over this time, I'm going to share with you on these videos. The more you watch, the higher your score is going to go. So enjoy and like our videos. Hi, we're going to get ready to unpack this midpoint problem. And just a quick commentary on this one. Midpoint is probably the #1 formula that kids just don't remember before the ACT and or SAT. It's on every single ACT exam, usually 2 questions that are going to require you to know the formula. And could be anywhere from like 1 to 4 questions on the SAT. So it's absolutely something I make sure every kid knows because it's so easy and you're guaranteed to get asked. So after looking at the question, if we start unpacking, let's write down what we know. So the question tells us that we don't know point A and we don't know what point B is, or sorry, we do know the coordinates of point B, -3 and 4. And then they tell us that the midpoints of point A and point B, midpoint happens to be 1 and 2. So the task is, if we were to look at what they're asking us to do, they're asking us, hey, if we give you B, we give you the midpoint, what are the coordinates of point A? So that's what we got to figure out. Well, we can't get there, well, I suppose we could, but we can't get there easily without the formula. So what's midpoint formula? Makes a lot of sense. It's the midpoint between 2 spots, so it's kind of like the average, right? So I need the midpoint of x, so I'm going to take x1 and x2, okay? So x1 plus x2, when divided by 2, has to equal 1, because that's the midpoint of my x coordinates, right? Okay, and then for my y coordinates, basically same thing. Make sure if you start with x1, you carry on with y1. Sometimes kids will then start with y2 plus y1. Just be consistent, because when you're doing negatives, we're going to have a problem. So now we're going to go y1 plus y2 divided by 2, and we know that that has to equal 2, because that's the midpoint. So I need to come up with these 2 numbers, and I don't know my x1 and my y1 values. Pretty easy. You can do some algebra here, or you could just simply say, hey, what number when divided by 2 is 1 and 2 is, right? So if we look at x1, I have to subtract negative, I have to add -3 to it. So what number minus 3 when divided by 2 is 1? So this has to equal 2, because 2 divided by 2 is 1. That means x1 must equal 5. Okay, so I've got my first coordinate. Really don't need to do any more work because I can see the answer already in my answer choices. But just for purposes of doing that again, to get your y1, we're going to go y1 plus y2 when divided by 2 has to equal 2. So again, hey, what number when divided by 2 is 2? 4, right? So we've already got 4. y1 must equal 0. And there's your answer. 5, 0. You get your x and y values for midpoint. There you go. Guaranteed to be on the test. Really easy math. Just comes down to the formula. Make sure you know it before test day. Thanks.